Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you the new Traxxas Sledge. Well, before we get too much further, and as always, I would like to take just a second and thank you very much for stopping in and taking a look at another one of my videos. And if this does benefit you in any way, do please consider giving me a thumbs up and a subscription. That would really help me out. Well, with that out of the way, what you see here is the new Traxxas Sledge. Now, this is a brand new model from Traxxas. This is not their traditional new badging on an old model. It's a completely new setup. There are some familiar things about it, but mostly new, as I mentioned before. As always, I do like to start with the controller. So they do give you the TQI controller here. And this is the optional Bluetooth module should you want to use that. Now, the body that's in this model does feature the clipless body mount system, and that clipless body mount system uses these little spring-loaded clips here on the back side of the body and the hook up front, just like the X-Max uses. Now, this does have that same kind of internal skeleton in here to make this body pretty rigid and reduce the likelihood that this will pop off as it's driving. But I do have some concerns about the flexibleness of these clips and how durable that might be as far as holding on to the chassis. Also, another feature in this body, which is becoming more commonplace in RC, is skid guards. Traxxas has placed skid guards here on the top, as well as here on the back of the body. Now, they are including more of these little spacers in here as the mounting positions for the inner cage. So this should do a pretty good job of making the body nice and durable. Now, the electronics that they're featuring in this model are the TQI receiver with the TSM, as well as the VXL6S electronic speed controller. Now, there is a new motor in here, which is a 2000 kV, which differs from the 2200 that's in the eRevo. So this should provide some additional torque. Now, there is a new servo in here. That's the 2275 servo. Now, this servo boasts an upgraded servo at 347 ounces of torque running on 6 volts. And 486 ounces of torque running on 7.4 volts. So this is a pretty considerable upgrade and a standard size servo from all of their previous models. Taking a look at the chassis, you can see some of the bracing that they have included here. They're trying to compare this to the ARMA model as much as possible, so they're boasting this as a rigidity part, as well as taking a look at this motor mount assembly. Now, I do worry about commonality with other motors with this clamp style motor mount, so it'll be yet to be seen what the aftermarket community does for aftermarket motors in this model. From this angle, you get a good look at that 2275 servo that I was mentioning, as well as its battery holder. Like the X-Max, this is a clip style method that will swing out of the way for you to be able to install your battery packs. And this foam padding here at the end could be removed should you have longer battery packs. Now, the one thing that is worth mentioning in here is you see this little hole that's located right here to the side of the battery holder. This is actually for you to be able to push a body clip in so that you can't undo that strap. So on this side here, I've pulled it loose. On this one, that body clip is holding that in place. So as an extra measure of security, I really would recommend installing body clips in your battery holders. Underneath the chassis, you get a good look at the gear mesh adjustment points here. So this gear mesh adjustment point works much like a nitro one does, as well as, of course, the metal gear for the spur. Now, on the chassis, there are some deep gusseting that you see here. This is adding rigidity to that chassis and plastic skid plates to try and keep you from scratching up your chassis. If you look down inside of the A-arm here, you can see that there is a bolt-on plate. And that plate will be very entertaining to see what the aftermarket company does with inserts in different colors and maybe carbon fiber materials. So I'll be very excited to see that. And looking at measurements here, we can see the Sledgehammer tire is coming in at just a little bit shy of 7 inches. And that's a pretty good tire diameter for a monster truck. These are 17 millimeter hexes, and the tire is quite soft, so ballooning will be a reality here. An additional measurement point will be your ride height adjustment. So you can see your ride height sits at about 2¼ inches. And a measurement of wheelbase will put this pretty close to 15¼ inches. And your front track width will come in at about 18 inches. Looking at the clipless body mount assembly that's here, this does appear to be quite durable for the front end. For the rear end, I do worry about some of its flexibility. As you see, that this does move quite a lot. And this does lend to just being very specific to the Traxxas style body. So aftermarket bodies might be quite a challenge here without some sort of body post assembly. Getting a closer look at the C-hub style front end here, as well as the aluminum drive shafts and the threaded aluminum shock bodies. You'll notice there is an absence of a sway bar kit, so that would be an upgrade for this model, as well as there are non-adjustable tie rods here. So you're going to be looking at upgrading if you wanted to fine-tune your suspension. The rear end receives much of the same treatment as the front end with its steel drive shafts and its aluminum threaded shock bodies. And again, you have the absence of the adjustable tie rods and the sway bars. You'll notice that there are included mud guards so that it won't spray mud all over your rear end if you're driving your vehicle in those conditions. There are aluminum shock towers in the rear end just as there are in the front. Well guys, as we put a wrap on this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about pricing. This truck is coming in at the $800 price point, which makes a $200 price gap between it and its closest competitor, the Arm Creighton. Now the Traxxas marketing team is chalking this up to the difference in the controller, the servo, the tires, and the chassis bracing. Now personally, I'm having a hard time quantifying the difference in cost here. But what are your thoughts? If you would, drop them down in the comments and let me know. And as always, if you did benefit from this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell if you want to see the future content. Well, that'll wrap it up for this episode, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.